It's we're live now.
And we are live, Titans of Liberty, here with myself, Chief Bowles, Jason Lowe, my homie forever and ever and ever and ever, JL Edwards, the Rilla, and my man, the way Denzel says it, Joe Biggs, my man. How you doing, brother?
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you being here. Lot of stuff. It's turbo. It's the quickening. It's all of that. Biggsy, man, tell me what you've gone through since old Sleepy Joe mentioned you in a tweet, brother.
Well, not just that. He put me in videos about white supremacists as well, too. So we're going to sue that guy. Oh, I have a police detail outside my house because of the tens of thousands of death threats that I have. I ride my motorcycle and people either want to come up to me and give me a hug or they want to throw shit at me. ABC called me today and they said, how does it feel to be one of the most hated people in the world? I said, that sucks, but hey, whatever.
Well, we don't hate you, Biggsy. We love you to death, man. So don't worry about it.
Oh, I'm not worried about it. I mean, think about it. Right now, this club has global attention and recruiting is through the fucking roof. We have this ability to use a spotlight to do a lot of good, to change minds. And, fuck it, call us that, and we'll sue your ass and you'll learn a lesson. We've got to get more involved that way. We can't just let people just label as shit and let them walk all over us. We got to start fighting back in the courts and stuff like that. So I know Gavin said that he's going to sue Biden and a lot of these other people, and I'm going to jump in on that as well. Yes.
Awesome, man. And how you doing, brother? Thanks for joining us. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name, man. Could you please go ahead and tell us, man?
That's Dave Sumrall.
David Sumrall.
I'm sorry, brother. I couldn't remember the name. I apologize.
It's all good. How are y'all tonight?
All right.
Man, it looks like I got here
Doing
just at the right time. How's it going, Big?
What's up?
What's happening, Jason? Good to see you, brother.
You too. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and Biggsy, is the city just providing that security for you, or are you having to shell out any extra money for anything, man?
No, they're doing it. I after about 1 million calls, I was like, and I'm a single dad. I got my daughter. I'm like, I got to take some of this shit seriously. I can't just act like I'm, play the tough guy. I got to fucking, take into consideration there could be out of those 10,000 calls one real lunatic that's willing to do something. So I finally decided to call the police, and they show up and like, holy shit, like, you're that guy that's on the news. I go, yeah. I was like, can we get a detail out here? They're like, yeah, we got you. And I filled out a whole bunch of paperwork and shit. And so they're posted up nonstop and checking in on me all the time and making sure everything's good. So that's kind of cool. It's funny because we're the ones that are labeled crazy and hateful. And, we really just want to go out there and keep other people from being violent. And we'd love to see a law enforcement do their job. But shit, man, these Democrat mayors and governors have just tied the hands of these law enforcement guys that can't do their job. And, it takes a drinking club to come in from out of town to help restore law and order in Portland. It's kind of fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and that's the answer, man. That's the answer to all those reporters' questions, about why are you here? What are you doing here? That's what it is, man. They're obviously, their hands are being tied by the infiltrated local government. That's clearly what the hell's going on. And that's the risk that we take every day. We go out there and we voice our opinions just because we have dissenting opinions and we're stronger men, that just happen to have a large amount of numbers because of the same feelings amongst these other men. It's very much a risk. We go out there day to day, and we're doing it for America. We're doing it because we love this country, and it's something that people just don't grasp. They throw around so loosely this label of white supremacist, and with it carries all of those images that you see in the Netflix documentaries that they seem to be propagandizing, recently and inciting, these thoughts.
What's that guy's name? Richard Spencer endorsed Joe Biden. Why isn't Joe Biden condemned Richard Spencer? Why hasn't he disavowed, cannibalism? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, is he a cannibal? Why hasn't Joe Biden disavowed,
Pedophilia.
all that. I mean, drowning puppies. I mean, this guy's literally a
Yeah.
puppy drowner. This guy's a horrible human being. I mean, this whole disavow bullshit is just another distraction to keep people from paying attention to the real shit that's going on in the world. The fact that the Bidens are behind actual Russian collusion, the fact that Hillary Clinton set up, spying on Donald Trump, the fact that the Democrats are once again harvesting ballots and trying to steal this election. It's complete and total corruption on one side. And if you're willing to stand up to those people who are doing wrong, you're labeled a white supremacist. You're literally Hitler, and you're deplatformed and shamed.
So that leads me to a question then for you gentlemen, as far as we see the real criminals, Comey, Lyon, all these people get caught in that, but nobody SWAT teaming James Comey. So how, like you say, it's not just a distraction, but how do you feel that you all are being labeled with these, really hazardous terms? You said you got freaking detail outside of you because they are that unhinged. Why is it that they are able to flip the script like that? And how does it make you gentlemen feel? Like, we know the real crooks, we know the real criminals. How do you guys get that bad guy label? Or we in general?
I mean,
You need people like us. So you can
it
point your
starts with
finger.
trying to clean
Say,
out the
"That's
inside. We've got so many bad guys, so much corrupt leadership within the FBI. We have so much corrupt senators and congressmen. It's time to vote these people out. It's time to get these people fired. It's time to put in people who are actually going to do the job. And that's where it is. I think for far too long, too many people voted for people that they didn't really know anything about or looked into. And that's how you get bad people slipping in. And, Donald Trump wasn't lying when he said the generals that we have in there are losers. They are losers. They're punks. They're bitches. They have become so corrupt and they're so obsessed with their look and trying to be cool and flashy and all that shit that they forgot what it is to be an actual fucking leader. And like Trump said, if we actually had to go into a war right now, we might lose because these guys are horrible at their job. Obviously we're not going to lose because we have the greatest fucking army in the world, but still, in general, these aren't good leaders. And it's time to fucking flush these guys out and put in some new meat and people who actually have some patriotism in the heart, some fight, some decency, and what's that word? Ethics.
But how do we do that when they're ballot harvesting and rigging elections? Like if they don't pay for their crimes and they continue with this destructive behavior. And I think personally that, if there is no Constitution, there is no United States, no law and order, then they will never be brought to justice for their crimes that they know they are guilty of. So the only solution is to implode it. What do you guys think about that?
I agree.
Well, there has to be consequences. Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see somebody go to jail. Somebody wants to, see them be prosecuted, man. I mean, these are crimes, and we know that. And that's the thing. And we get labeled that because up is down, down is up, and that's one of the things. We've been to all these things. Last year, Biggs and I co-hosted the Demand Free Speech in D.C. Congress and everybody knew within 2 weeks. Antifa threatened us with acid bombs. We had all the information. We had all the evidence. They had a training class. So, I mean, it's been on the radar. They don't do it on purpose. They won't declare them a terrorist organization because they're working with them. I mean, that's part of the thing. And that's where we have to have more people like us. I mean, active. You have to get in your city council. You have to go to your local stuff. I've been to Austin a handful of times to help, Owen and Savannah with their city council meetings and stuff. It takes action. People have to get in the street. And if you're not going to get out, you have to support people like Biggs and Jason and everybody that gets out and does stuff. I mean, you got to do something. And that's where we are. We're just trying to, motivate people, man. You can't sit by and let this happen. We're going to lose everything. That's what we're
I think you're right. There's way too many people who are complacent right now on the right. There's way too many people who aren't really understanding the severity of the situation and where the country is and how important this time is to get up off your ass and do something. Look at the left. They are motivated. They are in the streets. They are fighting for what they believe in. And it's exactly the one thing that what's that saying? That if America is ever to fall, it would not be by a foreign enemy, but from within. I can't remember who said it. But that's what's happened. The corruption's here. The enemy is here. It's domestic. And it's time for us on the right to finally get motivated, to get up off our asses and fucking do something about it. by throwing rallies, by going out and doing shit, by running for office. If you think if you're a good person with a good heart, good beliefs and good moral ethics, you need to get your ass in there and run for office. It's not that hard to do it. Look at Laura Loomer's out here in an area in Florida that's highly Democrat, and she is whooping ass. And she got motivated. She got pissed off. She said enough was enough, and she's doing it. More of us need to do that. I got a really bad record. I like to get into trouble and fight and shit, but there's other people who can metaphorically fight by using words and going out there. I'll make sure that people don't touch you or hurt you when you're running.
I think that makes almost all of us here.
Hey, maybe that's what we need, though. You know what? Maybe that's what we need. Somebody to go up there with a record that's not afraid to just put it all on the line. You know what I mean? Go up there and admit everything. Go up there and admit everything. It's like, hey, I'm an imperfect person. You know what? I'm going to tell you the truth. Straight up, just be upfront. Say, hey, this is me. Yeah. Take what you see because that's what it is.
It's like that scene in 8 Mile with Eminem where he's just like, fuck it. I'm just going to tell you all the shit that's going on, and ain't nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Who would you believe at that? Somebody who goes out and airs out their own dirty laundry. That way there is nothing, you know what I mean? Like, why not? Why not? That's what we need. Everybody talks about transparency. You know what I mean? What about real transparency? We're all imperfect. I'm about a super imperfect person that is willing to do any and everything for the United States of America and his local community. And, just put it all out there. What's left,
Yeah. This troll trolling me on Twitter the other day kept saying to me, oh, when did it all go wrong for you? Was it when you dropped out of high school or when you did this? Did your daddy leave you? And I said, actually, it was right after I caught that murder charge at 15.
Yeah.
That bitch left me alone. No, I don't have a murder charge. But I do want to say we would not be the ones at the voting polls blocking people from voting. That's the last thing we would do. We would actually be the ones protecting the polls. Stripper polls too. So that's all I'm saying. That's my 2 cents for tonight.
Yeah. Well, Joe. Biggs, man. Biggs, to go off the topic for just a second, man. How did you feel about Portland, brother?
It was good. Like I said, when I've done like 15 shows a day, and it's just like the last few days have been insane. Yeah. But when Enrique and we get ideas and we go, all right, we want to do this and we want to achieve this. And the first question he always asks me, he goes like, what's your main objective? And I go, well, I think in this situation, it's been 100 days or right at 100 days at that time when we first started planning. Maybe a little bit less. I said, there's complete and total lawlessness. I said, buildings are on fire. Federal buildings are being taken over. I said, police officers are getting hurt left and right. Civilians are being killed. I think getting them to enact a state of emergency should be our first thing. And that's going to help restore some law and order. And sure enough, it happened. Not only that, they've deputized or federalized, numerous cops, and that's going to last until the end of the year. That gives these officers the ability to supersede Mayor Ted Wheeler's punk ass, who's, let's be honest, the worst mayor in American history, and Governor Kate Brown, who's just an all-out fucking loser. These cops can now do their job. They can snatch these fuckers up, throw them in a van, and as far as I'm concerned, take them to Guantanamo and shove a fucking broomstick up their ass. But, that's if I was in charge. I love it. Big Antifa for Gitmo. That's going to be my next T-shirt right there.
Yeah, I love it, brother. I love it, man. Antifa fucking would definitely. Can you imagine the pictures? You remember those pictures of Gitmo? When the guards were actually caught, doing those. Oh,
that was Abu Ghraib in Iraq.
Abu Ghraib, that's what it was, brother. Yeah.
It's time that we instill fear in these commies. Look, this is America. We've been fighting communism forever, and we're going to sit back and allow these jokers to come in here and destroy the greatest country in the world. People are fleeing communist countries. They're not fleeing communist countries that come to a country that wants to become communist because they're too fucking stupid. These are uncultured swine who've never been around the world and don't know what it's really like out there. They don't understand the effects of communism. They don't understand what's really happening. You go to another country, you want to talk about racism, you want to talk about hate, you want to talk about fucking scum and shitty shitholes, leave this country and go go out there. There's some bad places. And I guarantee you, when you come back, every time I've left, I come back as soon as I get on the runway, I'm kissing the fucking ground and I'm in tears because this is the greatest place in the world. Yeah, it's imperfect. But you know what? So are we as people. And that's just how it is. You know,
brother.
We've got to fight for this fucking imperfect piece of soil because however imperfect it is better than everything else out there. And you know what? This country gives you the freedom to do what the fuck you are. Doesn't matter where you're from. I grew up homeless. I grew up in a car because my dad took off and had another family. You know, shit like that happens. But, you know, is that going to be a defining moment of my life? Am I going to sit there and boo-hoo my fucking eyes out and do nothing? No. You fucking step up. You learn from shit. You make it better. And you go out there and you fucking kick ass.
That was just the most perfectly said thing I have ever heard. That has to be a freaking snippet, dude. Joe, I mean, I've always said, dude, that it's just a lack of perception. You know, none of these people have been to Thailand and seen, you know, the children forced into the sex industry because that's all they can do to support their families. You know, it's people that haven't, you know, shit in a freaking, you know, I mean, the toilets are basically just the ground behind shitty hut, you know what I mean? Like, and then they go and wash their damn clothes in the same water that it's draining into. It's that lack of understanding that is driving, you know, the kids that we see in the streets, man. These assholes that openly invoke the red fucking guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, these kids, they don't understand. You know, I mean, openly supporting Maoism and just communism after, you know, maybe it's the teachers. I mean, we've seen, you know, a lot of these Antifa clowns that have been arrested, they're teachers. They're educating children. Obviously, you know, it probably starts there. It probably does start there.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're absolutely right. I was telling somebody the other day, my son, he was in class, you know, online school, and here his teacher is going on about the BLM movement and all this stuff. I'm like, nah, I'm about to contact the freaking principal. You need to keep your political opinions and your personal crap to yourself. Don't be trying to paint terrorist organizations as acceptable, while at the same time, people like the Proud Boys, Patriot Prayer, all these individuals that do stand for a good cause get demonized because you control the media. No, this is America. This is the greatest land. This is where you can be anything that you want to be. The problem is these educators are educating, like Trump says, to hate America. I was growing up and, you know, I was kind of on the black radical side, but not really. But history, once you learn it, you can learn that there is no place like America. Yeah, like you said, some effed up stuff has happened, but no, you can't be who you want to be in other countries. You will be, like you said, either sex slave, you'll be what they want you to be. And that's what they're trying to make America. And I'm back to, let's bring back Punch a Commie Day, flat out.
Yeah, brother. I mean, it's crazy, man, to see, like I said, you know, kids out there dressed in this red garb, you know, and they obviously don't understand the actual history of things, man. Of course, they don't really teach history in school anymore, which goes back to that point, you know, but, you know, you're a father, Joe. Rilla, you're a father. Jay, you're a single father. I'm a father. You know what I mean? What we do, my son wrote a damn book on the dumbing down, the deliberate dumbing down of America. You know what I'm saying? Like, Joe, I know your daughter's a treasure as well, man. You know, I mean,
you know, my mom shared this video with me. It's Kathy Ruse on YouTube. It's called Kathy Ruse on LGBT sex indoctrination in public schools. And I've grown up around the education system my entire life. A family of mine are all teachers and stuff like that. And they always tell me right now what they're pushing in the lowest levels of education is like this LGBT indoctrination. They're trying to confuse the boys, make them think they're girls. They want the girls to be boys. And they're doing that to make them unstable, to screw with their heads. And then as they get older and they've been broken down, it's easier to manipulate them. It's just like when you go through basic training in the army, they break you down and make you feel like shit to where you don't know a thing in the world. And then they build you back up to be the thing that they need you to be, the killer, the fucking soulless, spineless, emotionless fucking, you know, killer. And that's what they're doing with our youth now. They're dumbing them down. They're teaching them that, you know, 2 + 2 + 4 = 4, you know, and shit like that. And they want to confuse the hell out of you so much that when they start throwing weird shit at you, like, you know, trans fucking operations and drag queen story hour, you're like, wow, that's so fucking cool, because they mashed your fucking brains. It's insane. And that's something we really got to do. If we really want to take this country back, we got to save our kids, and we got to get involved as parents, and we got to say enough is enough, man. Get that fucking teacher out of here. I don't want to hear that kind of shit. If I can't fucking pray, if I can't say the Pledge of Allegiance, you need to take that shit out of here. Roger?
Yeah. Exactly, brother. I mean, dude, let's not forget, we're talking about forced gender dysphoria. I mean, that's basically what it amounts to.
Yeah.
I mean, people who are gender dysphoric, they fucking have a 40% suicide rate. You know what I mean? Like, we're basically forcing these problems upon our own children. It's insane, bro. It's fucking insane. It's crazy. It's crazy to see the attack on the children of the United States. It's not even just the pedophilia. I mean, we're talking about it in the schools too. The children that might not be, suffering these sexual assaults and whatnot like that. It's just sad, dude. It's sad to see the children of America being forced through this process that leads to mass confusion.
And the sick thing is you get to a point where, you can't change anything, or you feel that way as a parent. So what do? Then you go, well, I can homeschool my kids. Well, shit, I don't have time. I got a job. They force you into this situation of almost poverty, because you can either put them in a Christian private school, which costs a shit ton of money, or you've got to leave your job, or you got to work more to pay for the private school. So then you never get to see your kids, and you never get to be there to mentor them and push them down the right path, or not push them, but lead them down the right path. I mean, and give them the ability to make good, sound decisions as an adult later on. Or you've got to throw everything away at your career, and then you got to stay at home, and you got to homeschool them. And they force you into these situations where you either go broke or you go broke. It sucks.
Well, I wanted to bring something up real quick as far as like the education factor. I don't know how old all you guys are, but in my era, they willed in the TV for the O.J. Simpson trial. So it's like we've seen these things over and over. They have the same playbook, but I remember what our teachers would say, and I remember the racial division that tried to cause in our high school. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you even roll that in and then say, well, but it wasn't a murder or not murder thing. It was a black man murdered a white woman type of thing. And that was the story that was portrayed. So I see now they're, like you said, confusing the minds. There's no such thing as an unlearned action. So when some of the earliest things I remember is like MTV, 4 or 5 years old, all that stuff, watching all those crazy Detroit techno videos and, stuff that I like now. So when I think about Drag Time Story Hour or whatever you call that jump off, these kids at the youngest, most impressionable mind state, they're being shown something that is totally unnatural and ungodly. So what are we going to be forced with if behind that they're reinforcing the gender changes and confusing the mind? What are we creating? What are they creating?
They're reversing reality to make us weak.
We're seeing the ramifications of taking God out of school, removing core values like that away from our youth. And when you remove godliness and you remove that respect for our Lord and Savior, it only makes room for evil. And, our education system has become a tumor, and it's spreading from school to school to school, and it is killing us.
I believe that, bro.
Great answer.
Well, that's it. And there's a morality issue. There's that, you're taking God out of everything, but it's the schools, and it's systematic, and that's what's sad. We talk about the kids, but think about this, man. The foster system. The numbers that we have on kids that go missing every year. These are real numbers and things. And oh yeah, a lot of kids come back. Sure, I hear all the arguments, but what about the ones that don't? I mean, where are they going? You hear all this stuff. 53 kids, found in a box truck in Michigan the other day, Minnesota somewhere. I mean, you're not seeing this on the media. And that's real things. And that's where we have to understand that it's all part of a bigger plan. It's all part of an agenda. The people that own the media, they promote what they want to promote. Same with the schools. You infiltrate the school boards. People need to be at their school board meeting. People need to be at the agenda meeting that sets the curriculum for the school and picks the textbooks and be, involved in your community. Don't stay home and comfortable and watch your shows and Netflix and chill all the time. I mean, there's things to do. And we just want microwave society and sit by and let things happen. And like I said before, we're going to lose everything if we just sit by. We know it's that close. And 2020 is a huge, huge election. We've got all these issues with voter fraud. Think about what 2024 is going to be like. We better gear up. We better get the troops rallying. We better get going, because this is a test for the next round. and you know whatever they do on the left, they're going to amp it up next time 10 times. So that's what we need to be thinking about, preparation, and getting ready for the next one and get past this one, of course.
Yeah, man. I mean, as far as we've seen a mass demoralization on such a crazy scale. I mean, nobody seems to have morality at heart anymore. Nobody seems to have common courtesy at heart anymore. It's become a foreign thing. Just the other day, I made the harsh mistake of saying yes, ma'am, to someone, and was chastised and basically slapped my nose with a rolled up newspaper. I mean, it's just crazy, man, to see this decline. And it just seems like
you're still okay. You're still pretty safe in Florida saying that, but I can imagine
it's like that pastor choice on vice versa. That pastor's choice on vice versa. Everything in the world that's, what was it? Good is bad, and everything that's bad is good. Vice versa is a line. That's what it is. I mean, you say yes, ma'am. You open a door. You have, you act like a gentleman, and it's become offensive all of a sudden. Whereas I used to remember, the whole point of that is to respect the woman and to be the man there, the protector, the guy that's going to treat them well and all that stuff, so they can feel safe. I mean, it creates a good, humble environment when you do something like that. Now it's just like so much animosity. Like, if you're not throwing bricks and burning shit, dude, you're literally this fucking piece of shit. And it's like, I don't want to burn down buildings. I don't want to shoot cops. I don't want to fucking run over people. I don't want to do anything like that. I just want to fucking be nice to people and get along and live a fucking long, happy life. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Why is that so hard?
It's like that scene in the 1984 movie, whenever they're all yelling, whenever what's his name is on the big screen. And then, you see those wandering eyes, and it's like, who's not acting super crazy? We better get that guy, they better send the damn thought police to that dude's house. It's crazy, man.
That's where we are. I mean, these people on the other side from us are actually convinced they're doing the right things. They're actually convinced that we're the bad guys. This is what they believe. They're programmed like this. That's what we have to overcome. And it's not going to, we learned, I mean, we did the San Francisco stuff. We screamed and yelled at Antifa. They didn't listen. We cuss at them, whatever. It doesn't work, but, and it's not that you can treat them with a lot of compassion, because I want to smash them just like everybody else. But at the same time, if you've ever been tricked and had it rubbed in your face, it's kind of where they are. And we've got to find a way to, open that door back up. And me and Jason talked about this before. And that's the trick, man. I cannot for the life of me figure out how to make these people trust us, that we're not the bad guys, that we're not trying to do bad, and without violence. You know what I mean? It's gotten to that point. And I think that's the programming, the music, the movies, and the media saying, this is how to believe. This is what's cool, cut somebody down. And that's what's popular. And that's where the values come back to, where's the importance? What's my purpose? What am I supposed to do? How do I fit in this bigger picture, in this family that's America? Why is it so dysfunctional? And we see this all the time, man. I could go on for days.
I almost started busting out laughing while you're talking, because I just saw the picture behind Jason, and I'm sitting there like, man, don't fucking laugh. I'm looking at that picture of Joe Biden. I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck is that thing?
Real social
he got a social distance. I should have put a little kid right.
No, we got a socialist distance. That's what it is. Socialist distance.
That's it.
That guy.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm sorry, this sucks because I'm having so much fun, but it's 10:30 and I got to roll. But that's the fastest 30 minutes that's ever gone by for me. I enjoyed it, guys. It's been fun. And hey, call me again. We'll do this, man. I'm down.
Okay,
all right, brother. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you, brother.
How the hell I get out of here? Okay.
How do you leave?
Yeah,
I got a joke.
Yeah.
So let's get into. Let's let Dave get into stophate.com and why he started it and what brought him here. And then let's get into Thad, since you're everywhere, all over the place, just like Biggs is right now, on BET, Gateway Pundit. I've seen you've been called a black guy today, and all kinds of stuff. But you're doing
I'm
great
all the races. I said that earlier. I'm all the races. You know what I mean? I am human as fuck.
Yeah.
That's what
yeah. I mean, we're it's just and I wouldn't care if I was black. That'd be great too. But well, I'm just not, and you aren't either. It's funny how they say you are in that article. I was like, you know what? He does kind of look a little black in the article. You know, you do. You look a little. You look a little black. You look a little bit. You know, you're definitely not a white guy. But we'll get into that. But let's let Dave introduce himself for us.
Well, actually, I'm Aquaman. So.
Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Get to hear a good story. No, man. I started in 1992, long time ago. My son was in the womb. He wasn't quite born yet, and we were going through the LA riots and stuff, and sitting there on the couch watching all the bad stuff. I mean, riots like we're having now, and thinking, how can you bring a kid, into a world like this? And we thought, well, let's try to help the people. And, can we give money? Can we go and break up the fight? Can we go and put out the fire? Can we stop the violence? No, once it starts, it starts. So, we always thought prevention would be the best thing. Awareness, that not everybody hates each other just for no reason, prejudge, whatever. So we did T-shirts and wristbands, local stuff, keep it in my community. And we've branched out. And, the last couple of years, we've done stuff all over the country with everybody you can imagine and had a really good time doing it, made a lot of friends. And I think it's all about, making connections and, spreading a good message. People seem to be receptive to it. So we push on, see what we can do to, change some attitudes. And so Stop Hate is an acronym, which is start turning off prejudice, heal attitudes through education. So that's kind of what it is.
I like that, man. I like that. I like that a lot.
Didn't know that.
So what does it entail, brother?
Well, right now, man, we're just doing rallies and stuff like everybody else. We're about to do one in Scottsdale. It's not my rally. Check out Jason with us.
Yeah, man. I want one of those too, man. I'll totally rock that, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Black and yellow.
Yeah, we need to do some black and yellow ones, don't we?
Yeah, brother.
They're real easy to order too. Maybe I should get a couple hundred of those.
Yeah, man. I'll pass them out to my chapter.
Yeah, and that's all I do, man. I try to just raise awareness. I do speak at a lot of different things and do different events and stuff for myself and for other people. I'll be speaking in Scottsdale at the Patriot Party Rocks, patriotparty.rocks. Y'all go check that out when you get a chance. And man, it's going to be happening out there. A lot of good people. Barbara Flynn, Juanita Broderick, Joe Arpaio, how you say his name?
Yeah, a lot of Sheriff Joe.
It's going to be cool. It's going to be real cool. But, it's points on the board, brother. And one at a time, as much as we can, one at a time, two at a time, and this is a little bigger platform. Hopefully we'll get some traction within our own party. We've never had a group like this for ourselves. And, this is an opportunity for us to really take the narrative back over on who the party that.
I love that you just said that, brother. That's one of the things I'm pushing hard right now. We all absolutely need to take the narrative away from media, brother. I love that you just said that. That's one of the main things that I'm pushing right now.
That's it.
Dave, real briefly, I'm going to let you continue, brother. I wanted to introduce everybody to my good friend, Jakari Kelly. Love you very much. Thank you for rolling your eyes. That only added to the love.
Because I'm being tortured right now by the public.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're totally going to get into that. Dave, I wanted to let you finish up, man. Keep on telling us about the stophate.org. I mean, aside from events, have you guys done any other charity stuff, anything like that?
Oh, yeah. We work with several different charities in our local area. Of course, we'd like to do big stuff and get our name on the board in a big way. I think it's a viable cause, a good message and everything. But it's just as far as I can reach. I'm self-funded. I'm not a nonprofit. It's stophate.com.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's all good. We used to have that website. I lost it a couple of years back and got stophate.com. But, we do some food drive stuff. We try to help feed, people and stuff like that are kind of down on their luck and everything, especially in times that we are. But foster programs and things like that, just community things, encouraging others to do that as well. So, I mean, that's our thrust, is to set the example and then just put the points down there and let people see that they can do it too. That's really the gist.
That's dope, bro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I want to find out what Jakari's going.
Yeah, man, it's a whole thing, man. So Jakari and I,
Yeah, introduce her, Fat. Introduce her.
Yeah, so
tell everybody who she is.
Yeah, Jakari is the leader of Black Lives Matter Northern Utah. Her and I met. I think Jakari, we were first, or you first saw me, I think, at Cottonwood Heights. That was an event that we live streamed, Jason. You know, and we were out there. I can't remember the name of the gentleman that was about, Jakari. What was the name?
Eddie?
No. The name of the gentleman that got shot that caused Cottonwood Heights posters.
I do not recall at this moment.
Okay, yeah. So there was an event out there, and there was a very large crowd. You know, at one point, actually, there was 2 events. I know Lex Scott, another BLM leader, was out there. You know, that was when I attempted to reach out to her, if you remember, Jason. You know, there was some tense moments. I had some gentlemen standing in front of me with baseball bats. I think there's a picture floating around of that, thanks to you, Jay. You know, but Jakari, she heard about me. We made communication through my VP, myself, my president, my VP, Jakari, and another gentleman named Eddie Barrest. We sat, we talked, we had lunch, and we established a relationship. Jakari and I hit it off pretty quickly. You know, we explained each other's, what we believed in, and you know, we found out that we had a lot of things in common. And you know, after that, you know, we stayed in communication, and we
lost Jakari.
She'll probably be back, man.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and reach out to her. But you know, the moral of the story, man, is that I took her to Portland, Oregon. She expressed interest after, you know, like I said, it's not like a super fast thing. We had to, you know, gain trust for each other, which was very easy to do. We know that you know, Jason, when you, what's that?
I said, speak for yourself.
Well, for me, it was. I mean, I know you. You're a genuine person. You know, I didn't find I didn't find you to be deceptive at any point, disingenuous, anything like that. It was very much, as we say, a real recognized real type situation. And yeah, and she's a very powerful person. I mean, it only adds to the fact that she's a strong Black woman. You know what I mean? So it was a no-brainer that, you know, her and I work together, and I think that we've really accomplished something, or are in the process of accomplishing something amazing. I really think, EJ, I've always said that we're trying to set a national precedent, and I think this really sets an example for other community organizers across the United States to finally find a real solution. So, Jakari, I'm gonna go ahead and let you tell them about Portland. Let's start with that.
So, first of all, days leading up to even going to Portland, like when he asked me, I really thought he was joking. I didn't think he was being serious. And then I was like, oh shit, he might be serious. I was like, I gotta think about this and how I'm gonna approach my mother, because I guess I'm a 38-year-old woman, but I still gotta talk to my mama. And my son, because you know he's the boss. Not really.
Yeah, he is. Shout out to Pharaoh.
Somewhere in here, but I talked to my mom. She knows how deep into activism I've been getting this year, and how much it means to me. So she was like, I want his name, his phone number, his mama's name,
a hair sample.
You know, and so like I talked to my grandmother. I got advice from I even had my cards read. Like I was like, I need a sign from the universe,
and she got one.
To be okay. And then I'm at like lunch with my friend who's like telling me, like giving me the advice I need, and then I got stung by a bee. And she was like, that's a sign from the universe.
Black and yellow, black and yellow.
Right. And so like I took my ass to Portland. I was never like scared for my life with them per se. It's about the backlash that we were going to receive. That was the hardest thing I felt like I had to deal with. Just because everybody hates a Proud Boy right now. And this was before Trump even said anything. And it's just because people are so used to this power structure that we have in America, where we judge first off the first two articles on Google, and that's the truth. And that's not how I was built. I was never made that way. Like, since the beginning of like my school career in kindergarten, like I would play with everybody. In junior high, I was friends with everybody, like the band geeks, you would say, and like the drama, to like the jocks, to the gangsters, you know what I mean? Like, I was just that person that can move through anybody's crowd and be friends with them. I've never tried to judge people because I've never wanted to be judged. And me being a Black woman, I remember we went to school, my friend happened to have a red car. We just all happened to be wearing red that day, and we were deemed gang members at that time. Besides me being like a student body representative, her being on the varsity basketball team, we were still gang members because we were all people of color. She was Polynesian, I was Black, our friends were Mexican, and it was just, you know what I mean? So I've never tried to like filter who I've ever been. If I feel like wearing gold teeth, I'm gonna wear gold teeth, damn it. If I feel like wearing a skin tight dress, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And judge me if you want to. That's your loss, because you're not getting to know me. So that's what made me approach, even entertain the concept of meeting the Proud Boys, because I get so tired of people judging people. And hey, look, we're here today, 2 months. I'm getting ostracized by people that don't really do nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
they're always the worst.
Like, what?
Bunch of Debbie do-nothings and shit. Always want to call you out. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Like, this one guy was like, I don't know who this Jakai Kelly is, but I've lived in Ogden for 12 years. I'm like, bitch, please. Oh, can I say that?
Yeah, you
like,
can.
My family's been here since 1942. Like, I could care less what you think about me, or if you don't know me, that means you ain't talking to the right people.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're just like all of us. Never met a stranger.
So Jakari is from.
I applaud both of you for coming together in Utah. I really do, and I wish I could have done the same thing when I went to the BLM event the other day, and really come together with people. And I tried, after a while, but I definitely admire you guys, and the fact that you guys are all over the place today and just turning heads is definitely it's good, because somebody's going to get hurt. Innocent Americans
when
and minorities.
When start sending you news clips of yourself, you got a problem. Like, I'm like, where the hell did you come from? He's like, I see you're stirring the pot.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a pot that needed to be stirred. You know what I mean? It needs to be shaken is what it needs. And I think Jakari and I are just the people to do it. So like I said, we took her to Portland. There were very serious concerns. To elaborate further on what she's talking about, I mean, even in Portland, we had threats of suicide bombers. So she wasn't able to attend the event because she was under my care, and that's not going to happen on my watch. It's not going to happen, but we were able to.
Jakari was being the strong Black woman she was, and learned how to Google where the hell they were. So I took my ass over there anyway, but I made a wrong turn and accidentally went to the BLM rally in Portland. And that was the dopest experience of my life.
Let me tell you something about that, okay? She played the speakers from that BLM rally, and they explained the history behind Vanport, which was the area that we were in. In Vanport, I strongly urge any and everybody to research this, okay? This was a port where an entire Black community, and let's go ahead and say that Oregon, and I found this to be true, I researched this myself, Oregon was very much an area that tried to keep Black people out. They apparently were the secessionists' fallback. All of the secessionists from the Confederacy went to Oregon to create what they referred to as a white utopia. I was unaware of this history. Yeah, so you know what? That can be construed as being on purpose. You know what I mean? And Jakari explained that to me, and I find that to be true. Jakari and I have both educated each other on so many different things. And this is exactly what needs to happen. You know, this is the way that humanity prevails and perseveres through all of this divisive nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, Jakari and I, again, we were able to, you know, because of security concerns, you know, let me go back to the event. She also had speakers there. What was the one gentleman, the one that was explaining the Vanport, the older gentleman, the preacher.
Oh, I can't remember his name. It's in my phone. I got a bad memory. I don't have a thyroid anymore. Don't judge me.
But I mean, Jakari, I mean, the other speakers, I mean, talk about them, because you know, people have a very real misconception of what transpires in Black Lives Matter rallies, you know, and that's because they aren't there. They go off what mainstream media, our enemy, you know, says. So go ahead and tell us a little bit more about that rally, because I think it's very important that people understand exactly what was said.
So the Portland Black Lives Matter rally, it really hit home for me because it sounded like it was me up there talking about my home in Ogden, how the history of his grandmother being pregnant with his father and not being able to go into labor and have her baby at home in Oregon. They made her go across the border to Washington. Like, that land in that area has so much history that it's touching people my age now. Like, our grandparents raised us. Our parents had to work, so our grandparents raised us. I'm on a freaking show right now. Okay.
$50 tomorrow.
$50. Sorry, Farrell. You're so grounded right now. Okay, go.
Okay, I'll continue watching Netflix. Yeah, have a nice talk, you two. Bye. Babe, come on, you don't want to be in with me.
Farrell, this isn't okay. But and then the second speaker.
We're live.
I know, so embarrassing.
All good.
So, like, the second speaker was a young man who's also a drummer and talked about his experience. Both his parents were lawyers. Both of his parents had to work their way from the bottom all the way up. And so when he was born into white culture and was taught he had to assimilate in order to get there. And he felt some kind of way about his own parents because he felt like he was missing his own culture, and then had to go back and learn it through the community he missed. And you know, when you do something like that, like you catch hell that way too, because people don't understand why do you want to come around us? It becomes classism, right? So he found his place. Black Lives Matter. Honestly, their major thing that they said at the beginning of their protest, we're here to educate. We're not here to mess with those guys on the other side of the park. That's what he said. He was like, we're here to educate. We're here to start this caravan and go to our event. We're not here to entertain no mess. We're tired of Antifa taking our narrative and making it seem like we're doing something we're not. So yeah. Portland would have been a really good area. Like, I wish I would have got his number, but because all men are a little scary, because of security concerns, he didn't give him his number. He was going to call me. But I know, like, when you have an event like that, you're going 100 miles an hour and you're not going to remember to do that. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I did have a question for Jakari, and it's kind of along the lines of like some of the things that Black Lives Matter and Antifa not necessarily stands for, but carried out through their actions, as far as like tearing down the statutes and wanting to remove certain elements of history, even though they have a bad feel and a bad taste to it. Don't you think that's kind of counterproductive? Because just like you said, you learned a history, it made you feel a certain way, but at the same time of feeling that way, you want to bring about a positive change, and you also want to enlighten people about this situation, kind of like you shared with that. And that's new information to a lot of people that's viewing. But here's the deal: if we remove that like it never happened, how can we ever come to that point of realization that that was wrong, and the reality of we want to make a change for the better?
Do I? So I 100% understand why they're removing those statues the way they are. Those statues were not put up to tell people history. Those statues were put up to praise people. You know what I mean? And it's not about erasing history. It's about correcting history, to me, in my eyes, in my personal opinion. And if you want to talk about that type of history, put it in a museum and tell the people what it really is about. It's not about erasing anything. It's not about hiding anything. It's about, hi, this rapist and mass murderer should not be put in the center of the city like he was a god. You know what happens when we praise false idols. It's in the Bible. It's biblical.
And you see Rilla, where I'm coming from, brother. I mean, for one, she said place the statues in a museum, which is a rational, and reasonable suggestion, because it does cause those emotional responses in people. And then again, she referenced the Bible as well. This is why I like this woman so much. This is why I love this woman so much.
It's definitely one of the 10 commandments that thou shalt not do all that stuff, and even it says to not make anything on heaven or earth of living or dead. So, I mean, that's a very valid instrument, and I feel the same way about certain pictures and things. But the key point that I will take away from that, and it was a great answer, is like you said, you're not trying to erase it, because I do believe what led me to my understanding about, I was radicalized. I thought everything was the man's fault, and I'll never be all of that. But once I start digging into history, then I realized, like, hey, Black people have a strong history in this country, you know what I mean, and around the world. So we should never feel less than. And if it wasn't for these quote unquote flags, statutes, to where I could see them as visible, I would have never went to the library and found out about those things. You know what I mean? Same deal with like a museum. If there's a museum telling the story, the real story, right, but you're saying the meaning of it is, well, they was glorifying that. That's well said.
Yeah, that's how I feel, because I lived in Georgia, so I would go to the gas station and see a Confederate flag, and I was like, why is this here? Yeah. And my dad, who was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens, LL Cool J, but he was like
Tower of Power.
My dad was like, why do you have to be so hateful? I'm like, it's a freaking Confederate flag, you know what I mean? Yeah. Me and him don't really get along well, but I was just like, me being from the West Coast, I was taught that the Confederate flag was bad. If you see a Confederate flag, walk the other way. My grandfather was from Mississippi. My grandma's from Louisiana.
See, well, I look at the Confederate
in order to be on to walk this earth these days. So I know what a Confederate flag means to me and how it makes me feel when I see it.
Now, do you think that's how it's educated upon us? Because I look at it as the rebel flag they was rebelling against what? Now, does that mean I have to agree with their economic functions, but they were rebelling against the federal government trying to force them to do things. Now, I see now, like you said, if it causes harm and it brings back those emotions to people, then you shouldn't have it. But the reality of it is, what were they really fighting about? Because right now in this day and era, they're trying to force people to hate each other. They're trying to force people to do things they don't want to do, i.e. put on masks next to the vaccine. So sooner or later, we're going to be all on the same train. Well, that's what I'm saying. We're now all on the same train, whether we like it or not. And the major distraction, as mentioned earlier, is to get us to hate each other. So they don't want the thing they fear the most is the people united. See, we're the United States of America, but really we should be the United Hearts of America. Because if the people aren't united, then you can never have United States.
Right.
Well, I like that. You make that one up. I like that.
I live it, man. I live it. You know, a lot of people are misled. That's what I mean. I'm the nerd that sits down and reads 10,000 hours of law and don't want to be a lawyer.
Tight nerd.
That's the thing.
But at the same time, I feel like us as Americans really need to be re-educated, because we have been used as pawns in a game called government. And I'm tired of that shit. That's kind of why I like some people a little bit, You know what I mean? Because we can agree on that point. And I'm tired of being somebody's pawn.
Yeah.
When I'm
Yeah,
looking on the chessboard, like, don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
But
it's
that's the thing.
dangerous.
More people on both sides are waking up. More and more people, and that's what we love, because it's not about, hey, come to my side. It's about wake up and think for yourself and let's figure this out. But the education thing, the communication, they don't want us talking like this, because we're going to find out that we have a lot more in common than they tell us. You know, and that's the thing. You take away,
Absolutely.
you take that political spin on everything. And like I was telling them before you got here, I started doing this in 1992. You know, during the LA riot. So we've watched the media and we've watched the spin that they put on everything they do, from sex to religion to race. Everything's politicized. So we've got to get the narrative back to talking and get our words back and get the meanings back, because so many things have been changed to trick us, to trick everybody, no matter which side you're on. We've all drank our fair share of Kool-Aid, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
talking again, that's the education. Communication.
We have to be more responsible. We have to be more responsible with our social media too, and realize how we just microscope certain issues and make it seem like, you know, that's going on in a million times. You know, this is going on like all over the city and all over the United States and every city, and it's true, man. And we do all of the, like, it's good to expose if someone on the other side is, you know, calling for burning down cities and doing all that stuff, calling for violence. That's good. But if we're not coming together and trying to do that, and it's only going to get worse. Now, understand, people want to see people trolling and arguing and all that. People do want to see that. But we need to be more. They do. Yeah, and I think people need to realize it's not to get caught up in that when you have a camera out. And even if you have 1-2 people watching, just try to remember that we're all human beings. And I'm speaking to myself too as well, because I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. But I mean, at first it starts, oh, I'm just gonna make a video. Oh, I'm gonna just do this. Oh, I'll have a couple friends or a couple views. Next thing you know, you're a story being used on a headline. And we need to realize that we have, especially we have kids, what are we leaving behind for these children? You know, nothing but hate. We're, you know, that's why I laugh when they're like, you know, you guys are a hate group. And you know what's funny is I actually quit the Proud Boys 2 days before the debate. I was like, you know what? I want to be an individual entity again. I'm tired of being put in a group. And this is exactly the reason why, because of exactly what happened during the debate. And at the same time, it sounds like a cop-out, but it's like, that's not the only reason. It's like, I want to be an individual entity. And the next thing I know, I'm like, and I knew it too when I'm watching the debate. I'm sitting there watching it, and I hear Chris Waller say, will you come down? Yeah, he's going to put marbles in your mouth. But he's like, will you come down? Why promise it? And then he also said something about Portland. Once he said something about Portland and militia groups, I was like, oh, he's talking about the Proud Boys for sure. And 2 seconds later, Joe's like, Proud Boys. I'm like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
But you know, that it doesn't matter how many times you guys will meet. Hopefully it does. And I mean, it's great to see you guys everywhere. But these people are still going to push this. Kevin Hart today posted that we were the KKK. Ice-T posted a video of some white boy saying that he had a grunt style shirt, and they said he was a Proud Boy just because he's white. He had a grunt style shirt, and he was talking about Civil War and popping it off with Joe Biden one. And Ice-T's retweeting this like this is a real video, and it's like this guy's not even a Proud Boy. So we got to realize that this is going to be pushed no matter what. And so what you guys are doing is something huge, and I really, really applaud you guys for it. And I hope that it just keeps growing and then you can get the attention you need. And I think President Trump needs to really look at what y'all are doing, what you two are specifically doing. And I know they're reading these articles today because it's in the Gateway Pundit and it's everywhere. Okay. If it's in the Gateway Pundit, Trump is reading it for sure. So he's seeing this. And if, he doesn't address that, it's, it's just hard because it's a debate. It's an election cycle that we're going through right now. So, I just hope nobody gets hurt over the BS, because we condemn white supremacy. I condemn any kind of supremacy. You know, I'm just an American, you know, and I grew up listening to Motown. You know, Shaq was my favorite basketball player. I watched the Bucks, you know, playing football, and I always loved Black culture, Black movies, and I always found Black people to be hilarious.
What about
like
women?
Madea
What
and
about the
things
Black
like that.
women? Do you love the Black women?
I
Like,
love, yeah, of course I like Black women. Black women love me
yeah.
too. I don't know what to say. You know? I don't. Hey, I do not discriminate at all. I do not. I do not discriminate. I love Black women. I love white women, Asian women. I don't care as long as they're female. That's all I care about.
Well, I tell you what, something I've always said is he who controls the language controls the learning and the law. And right now, what's going on, and that's from all my summaries, if I had to say something, what I learned throughout life. And I'm seeing that they're taking not just the narrative, but they are literally changing the language. I've seen that the Navy was going to gender neutral language. And I mean, that's all fine and dandy. I don't think people wake up I'm lying about that. People wake up wanting to offend people. Good people really don't want to offend anybody, no matter what they're choosing in life at that time or point. So we've allowed them to make something out of nothing by just the twisting of the words, man. As the term goes, it's word magic. And I think once we wake up from the spell of word magic, like, no, it's okay to be a proud American. It's okay to be Black. It's okay to be white. It's okay to be male. It's okay to be whatever.
Say Black Lives Matter.
It's okay to be whatever you want to be in America. Because here's the deal. This is the reality. What kind of an a-hole am I? Because I grew up in an interracial household. My dad is white, but my real dad passed when I was 6 months old. So it's a real different paradigm that most people grew. You know, it's different from other people. So how can I say that my life matters more than somebody else? Because if I'm free, I'm going to cut you loose. If you're in fear of being,
is that what you think when you hear Black Lives Matter? Is that we're saying our lives matter more?
No, this is what I believe. I believe we are allowing them to use the language to create a division. So what does that mean? Saying,
right,
well, I'm something and you're not. Like, well, I'm a manager. Well, I don't give a damn. I'm flipping these fries, but it don't make you better than me. You get what I'm saying? And I don't want to be a manager. I got something in the oven anyway, and I'm about to be out of here in 2 weeks. You get what I mean? But so what does that mean as far as
I can tell?
Well, like, I don't do this. This is what y'all do, man. This ain't my goal. I'm not trying to climb the corporate ladder. So here's the idea. If I let somebody else think that, if you're not going to make anything less of me, you see what I'm saying? So why would I come at, if it's offensive in a manner to other people, all lives matter. Well, yeah, that's creating that division, because the ultimate goal that these crooks have is divide and conquer. It's so ancient. It's as ancient as the tree of knowledge itself. Because why? The serpent was able to divide and conquer the truth of what, quote unquote, God said. Did God not say?
We've got to focus at the top. And, you know, you guys doing these press conferences now, you should start dropping red pills on these people like Gates and Fauci and about these, you know, bogus coronavirus tests and numbers and things like that. Because really, while we're arguing and all this stuff in the street, what they're doing is they're pushing the Great Reset right now. And they definitely are, you know, relocating funds into billionaires' pockets at the top 1%. So we need to focus on staying away from this medical tyranny, which we're all going to be slaves to, you know, because right now they're testing us with this Event 201 crap. What happens when there's a worse bioweapon released by terrorists, like Gates says, Event 202? You know, that's the things we need to be worried about. And the fact that they're trying to push a social credit score system, you know, that's what we should be worried about. You know, yes, we need to, any cop that murders anyone or any bad cop needs to be dealt with, period, point blank. I've always thought that. Trust me, I've bumped into cops a few times in my life. But I still don't, I'm not going to sit and say every cop is bad. Just like every American's not.
Neither
bad.
does Jakari.
We go.
Jakari, yeah.
Oh no, I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that she does. I'm not saying that she does, but I'm just saying, like, we do see that a lot, and that's there's always that extreme to it. It's blame everyone. It's, you know, and I think this is definitely progress. This is definitely progress. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like, I live next door to 2 correctional officers. Across the street, like in my same cul-de-sac, there is highway patrol, and there's 2 city PDs in my like 500-foot radius. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I can't be like F the police, even though I'm like F some of those police. You know what I mean? Like that. I feel like I can say, and they say it too. They're like, those guys make us look bad. Those guys make our lives in danger as much as anybody else because people target us.
It's their training, you know, when you have people like Joe Biden, I mean, like, let's just get real, man. This ain't even a political Democrat Republican thing. Let's just look at his voting record and what he stands for. I'm a victim of the 1994 crime bill. You know what I mean? My state said, hey, let's try him as a juvenile because of what the federal things did. Is I had to face an adult charge, and that's because of Clinton and Biden. Now, here's my deal. Are cops bad? Have I had encounters where they're like, shut up, boy? You know what I mean? Of course. But have I had police officers say, hey, you're the nicest individual I've ever met? It's their training. And then also, how are we being trained to respond to the police? Do you know about if you get pulled over, turn off the car, put your keys on the dash and keep your hands on the steering wheel? You ain't going to have no problems.
That's called the black parent talk. Like we all learn that as soon as we get ready to get a driver's license.
Or Ice Cube album. You know what I mean? Go ahead, get them jelly donuts. And I'm just playing. But
right. My son's not allowed to listen to NWA yet. But I got pulled over one time and my son was like, Mom, I'm going to get out and run. I was like, that's what? Have you not been listening to me? Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And he was only 7. He was scared of the police that bad. And not because of anything I've taught him.
Yeah.
TV, movies, music, everything.
Wow.
Everything. And we desensitize our kids.
He sees what goes on in the world. They talk about current events in school to the point where my son is already scared of police.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing.
So where when mommy gets pulled over, he wants to get out and run to safety.
And the way we fix that is introduce him to some police and say, hey, these guys are our friends and let's talk and let's meet.
That's a great idea, bro. That's a great idea. I actually like that. I like that.
And that's what my next door neighbors are for. You know what I mean? He knows there's not all police are not all police are bad police. But how do you know?
Yeah.
You don't know until you're getting shot in the back 7 times.
And these cops are being trained on some bully crap. I mean, when you look at the lady in Ohio that freaking got tased because she wasn't wearing a mask. I mean, there's training and then there's militarization. You know what I mean? Our law enforcement on a lot of levels have been militarized. And you look at the corrupt FBI, they're lawless. If you're lawless at the top, you're going to be lawless at the bottom.
And arresting people for being outside at church and things like that. We're not cool with that. Like you're literally arresting people and going against, you know, what you swore you would do. You swore you would stand by the Constitution, by the Bill of Rights, and you're not doing that. So at that point, that's when the cops have overstepped their boundaries, you know, and I can see why people get mad. Not every cop is great. You know, they're not. You can't say every person's great, but we do need policing, and you do see in these cities in like Minnesota and things like that. Now they've called for defunding. They've defunded. It's happened in Portland, and people get into some skirmish, and then they're like, "Where's the police?" They want to call the police, and then the police aren't there. You know, so you know we do have to have that balance. And we're never going to have a perfect world, but I think what you guys, like I said, what you guys are doing is great, and you need to continue to do that. And next time, just keep planting like a red pill every time, and coming together. And I think showing that love is going to be something that's going to be hard. That narrative is going to be hard to beat. I mean, look already, you guys are everywhere. So having more people come together. It's gonna be a beautiful thing.
And he got to get dressed for it. He looked like a freaking supermodel. I'm looking like the freaking
he was wearing the extra. He's wearing an extra small baby Gap.
You talking about the Perry?
Baby Gap Prairie.
Dude, that's a 2X, dog. That's a 2X. Perry's run small. Perry's run small.
Yeah, they do run small. You ain't lying. They do run
real quick, man. Let me shift gears. let me shift gears real quick so I can get everybody up to snuff on exactly what's transpired in the past couple of days. Like I said, I took Jakari to Portland. We were able to sit down with leadership after everything, after the event and during the party afterwards. Barbecue afterwards. we were able to really hash some things out. Sans a little bit of sass for Miss Jakai over there. She got a little upset with me. But we were able to sit down and establish that relationship. Okay. So after President Trump's debate with Joe Biden, of course, everybody knows what was said. The stand back and stand down, or stand by. I can't remember what it was. But Jakari and I, because of the trip to Portland and the backlash that ensued after that, and some explanations were due. I mean, especially on her side. So not that it was something that she, should be forced to do, but I mean, hey, we expected it, from both sides, so
I still don't think you got it as bad as I did, but whatever.
No, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. But some people are just are not going to understand the broader picture of things. You and I, we've discussed this at length. We know how much more this is a complete onion of a situation, and we're barely at the top few layers. But after President Trump, mentioned the Proud Boys, because Jakari had established that relationship publicly. It was absolutely necessary to avoid the backlash that she would have for sure received. We're talking about very real concerns about safety, and she has a family. I have a family. So these things needed to be addressed. All of us have, the words white supremacy, and I conveyed this message at the press conference. They are very powerful. When someone is labeled white supremacy in today's political environment, there's a very real threat from physical violence. And we went out. We stood there in front of all of the news. Jakari was she was very successful and very quickly at calling this press conference. I don't know that they would have responded to a Proud Boy as quickly. And it was very interesting, Jay. I mean, we can do all the things in the world, and sometimes the media won't even show up. We can go out there and do the best things in the world. Like we go to the battered women's shelter. We do things for them. We have events, and one person might show up. We've had events at the Capitol, and one or two of the news organizations show up. But called it. We stood there in front of them, and we let everybody know publicly. What our purpose was. And I'm going to go ahead and say it on here. Jakari and I are also going to form a new organization. Jakari, tell Jay about this.
So it's called New Identity. It's NU Identity, and it's just a way for people to come together. It's where Black people are able to be proud Americans, and white people understand that we're all Americans at the end of the day. And I'm not saying all white people. I'm just saying the people that don't understand us, they will have to be re-educated. And that's how we're gonna bring anything together, is tell the truth about how we were founded, how black people came to the United States before the United States was the United States. You know what I mean? You can look at history and populations and cultures all over the world, and there is a little bit of Africa in everybody. From, you know what I mean?
Apparently me too, because BET said I was a Black guy.
So from all the way in the bottom of Australia, you know what I mean? Africa's been touched by, or the United States has been touched by Africa long before slavery. And we need to learn that as Americans, like our true history. Our history in America as a Black culture did not begin with slavery.
Mm-hmm.
It began with some double crossing. Nah.
Cradle of civilization.
For real.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people don't know is, go ahead, continue.
No, that's it. Like, New Identity is just a way for us to be able to really become the new United States of America, and that's what I feel like needs to happen. Like, I'm tired of the BS with the media. I'm tired of the BS with politics. Like, how can you stop people's checks and you still get paid? That don't make no sense.
Yeah. So Jakari, if you have any of those links from the presser last night, all I could pull up real quick was Jay's retweet of the little bit that, I mean, it seems like they cut you off a lot. I mean, I didn't find too many videos of you talking. If you can,
and that's why everybody's probably handing me my ass right now, because they're like, "What is this about?"
Well, here's the thing: we have the entire thing recorded, so I have the whole thing. I'll send that to you. We have it in its entirety. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this. Right? Is this showing right now, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and full screen this. And we'll just play this little snippet right here. Can you guys hear it?
Proud Boys as a whole, I will say this on behalf of the entire national organization, denounce white supremacy. We are in no way, shape, or form white supremacists. We have a vetting system that just gets those guys out of our hair. We do not have anything to do with white supremacy. We do not have anything to do with the Ku Klux Klan. We denounce those organizations.
Let me know when it's over, guys. Did it just start over again?
Proud Boys as a whole, I will say this on behalf.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah.
Okay. So, Jakari, if you have
it's good. It's good.
If you have any more of those clips, put them in the private chat.
You sure that's with 2X?
I promise you, brother. I'll pull it out right now. It's right there. I'll show you. I promise.
Yeah, I don't have any, but all I have is like just the articles that have been going out.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is that we went out there and we talked about all of this. Of course, that's a very short clip about us denouncing white supremacy. Again, I say that, I only say that again, man, because, for her to be tied into white supremacy is just so nonsensical and ridiculous, and she, I mean, she's under fire for it because of the
it brings back history for me, because Malcolm X was strictly a Black organization, period.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But Martin Luther King opened up the opportunity to have people from different cultures and different religions come and help him. So history repeats itself, and I'm going through the fire, and it's hot as fuck.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we're gonna work on several different things. Oh, and also I'm gonna function as Sergeant at Arms for New Identity. Jakari asked me, and I very happily accepted. So I very much look forward to any and all of the events that her and I do together. My club is 100% on board. My club, my particular chapter, my Salt Lake Boys, are ready to do this with you, Jakari, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. I really have the highest of hopes. There we go. All right,
my
BET.
God, if you don't get me off this screen right now.
Yeah, so this was on BET.
It was not on BET right now.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So and they worded it very well.
For a couple hours.
They actually had one of the better readings that I've seen.
Oh my gosh! Like, holy Shaka Khan.
Welcome to the Cowboys.
Oh my
God! You back, girl? I'm sorry.
They're like, there's Black people in Utah.
Number one, right? That's pretty funny. I'm sure you'll see a lot of the narratives that'll come out through that.
So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna read it, man. You want me to go ahead and read it?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So in a strange twist,
it's a pretty short article.
Yeah. It's concise and it says exactly what was said.
And real quick, I just want to
go ahead.
But they do throw some fake news saying that the FBI considers the Proud Boys extremists, which that ended up being fake news. But that's the only thing that was wrong in the article.
Yeah, and we actually make mention of that also in the press conference. Again, we do have that full press conference recorded. We have it uploaded to YouTube. We're going to go ahead and probably play that at some point tonight or tomorrow. So in a strange twist in what has already been a strange week, Utah leaders of the Proud Boys have apparently joined up with an unlikely ally after comments made by President Trump in Tuesday night's presidential debate. The Proud Boys have been generally recognized as a group of right-wing extremists with a reputation for instigating violence at demonstrations. Jakari Kelly, the leader of Black Lives Matter Northern Utah, which, for the record, is not affiliated with Black Lives Matter Utah, stood with leaders of the Salt Lake City Proud Boys chapter at the city's Washington Square during a press appearance on Wednesday. When I'd seen it, said Kelly, referring to the debate, and I heard the word Proud Boy, that scared me to death because I am a Black Lives Matter leader and I have been working with these Proud Boys to know who they truly are. I had no idea who the Proud Boys were. I heard the word Proud Boy mentioned throughout the activist community, and I just didn't know who they were. And then I started to hear that they were white supremacists. Kelly said that she found herself in conversations with men who were Proud Boys members and asked them about their purpose, to which they replied that they only wanted to ensure nothing happened at a protest last month in Cottonwood Heights. Then she was shown a picture of an individual who only gave his name as Thad and was told that he is a high-ranking member of the Proud Boys chapter in Salt Lake City. Thad is not white. Meeting ensued between Kelly, Thad, and the Proud Boys chapter president, who is only identified as Seth, in which they discussed myths about both groups. We came to realize we had more in common than not. In order to combat evil and racism and hatred in this country, we do need to be able to reach across the aisle and have these tough conversations that everybody is here to have. The Proud Boys now came to the forefront of media focus on Tuesday night after President Trump's now infamous stand back and stand down remark when asked if he would disavow white supremacists during the debate. That apparently emboldened members of the group, who began posting emblems on message boards like Telegram. Nonetheless, the Proud Boys have anything but a sterling reputation. They are recognized as an extremist group by the FBI, false, and as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, but they don't count. They have been seen publicly engaging in skirmishes with demonstrators at Black Lives Matter protests, notably clashing with Antifa. Of course we're clashing with Antifa, a left-wing group that has been known to get into conflicts with right-wing activists and have also been accused of violence. Although a number of members are non-white, many Proud Boys have been spotted at white supremacist events. Of course they mentioned Charlottesville, man. A former member, Jason Kessler, was the organizer of the Charlottesville Unite the Right rally in 2017, which descended into violence and killed one person. Rest in peace. Kelly said the Proud Boys she's met with are not white supremacists and considers them proud American men who needed a little bit of respect and education in order to bridge gaps. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, and none of those guys none of those guys with the torches were Proud Boys. That's another lie.
Absolutely not.
Those guys were probably paid to be there to do that shit, honestly.
Absolutely.
And I joined after Gavin was gone, and you as well, Thad. We joined while Enrique was chairman, and it just sucks that there are those guys.
I know you have love for Gavin as well.
You got to realize. Yeah. I've run security at events where he's at, but we never have been able to talk. I've been at events with him. But I just want to say this, that even at the events we've had people try to come and act like they're KKK or Nazis and try to blend in and take a picture with a Nazi sign. People do that shit, man. So at this point, we need to just fight the narratives. And what you guys are doing is great. I just want to say that. And everybody watching right now, hit the like and share button and let people see the truth about what's going on. Because if we continue,
a new identity.
Yeah, a new identity. I mean, that's beautiful that you guys are doing that. And that's what I say to people too. I'm like, why don't you just start your own thing? And that's another reason why I kind of stepped away too. And it's because we already got our own thing going on anyway. But with all this going on, it just makes me want to hop right back in.
Yeah.
I just want to do always now I have to step up. Because now I have to step up for my boys too, because it's like now they're being labeled like, and then it's there's an election on the line too. So now I have to stick my face out there as a brown Proud Boy and say, listen, if I felt in any way that someone was racist around me or was a white supremacist or something like that, I wouldn't be in the group. Okay. Do these guys like to troll? Do they like to joke around? Do they like to have a good time? Do they like to drink? Do they like to get messed up? Are they upset at commie bastard Antifas? Yes. Guilty. The only thing we hate is communism. So if you were a hate group, we hate communism and we hate people trying to take away our freedom. but we love all Americans in all colors. And it sucks that we even had to have this conversation, but let's do it, so let's have more shows like this. And definitely we should make one podcast a week, where we all come together and talk about these issues and bring new guests on from different, platforms and see what we can do from there.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
You hear my daughter's snoring in the background. I don't know if you guys can.
No, that's the hard part to get the truth out, guys. We put a story out yesterday, I guess, because of the whole debate thing. And, it was the interview with Enrique with MSN or MSM, or whatever. And they banned it. They took it down. They won't even let us use the truth out of their own videos when they interviewed him. And he said, I'm a person of color and we're not racist. It was just, it's just crazy. But Gavin,
his family fled Castro. Like, come on.
Family members were killed. It said right there in the interview, 2 of my family members were killed. And it just makes no sense. But I was with Gavin in Alabama when he sued the SPLC, with Ron Coleman, and man, I tell you what, he's a funny guy, and I don't think there's a racist bone in his body. He's just a comedian,
Yeah, it's like we said. It's like we said, man. He's just a provocateur. He's a professional provocateur. He is a professional troll. He is out to get that response from you. It's like the whole AOK thing. It's a troll. Come on,
setting.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And the left falls for it every time.
Remember when I asked you guys about that OK sign?
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys look like you're about the same age as me. I go, is that shit from when we were in junior high and we used to do the OK thing on our legs? And
people do that. Yeah.
I'm like, see, this is the corniest shit ever. Like, like, people don't understand you guys are really corny, but corny's not always a bad thing.
Yeah.
But you guys have to have a passion for
cringe.
If you look at it, the whole thing.
Can't have a men's club.
The whole thing is corny as fuck, and we love it because for whatever reason, like, people just respond, their heads explode. They can't take it, and it's like, I made you look.
I knew, but stand back and stand.
The whole white power symbol.
Oh man, the world's.
Oh no!
That's what I said. I was like, oh no, all the people I ate breakfast with yesterday morning are gonna freaking get murdered.
But it makes you think right now.
I was like, holy shit, too.
You have a bunch of people wake up one day and just start calling themselves Proud Boys if they really wanted it. And that's what they truly fear. Is like, now you have a point where anybody can be a Proud Boy. Well, theoretically, but against communism, against the ideology or the idea of Antifa that's burning up federal buildings, chanting death to America. Proud Boys are not setting federal buildings on fire. Proud Boys are not going up in the middle of the street and blowing people away. But guess what? 80%, maybe 70% are armed. So you got to think about that. And then there's all these other armed individuals that's not Proud Boys that says, no death to America. That's what they're scared of, is us uniting. You said it earlier, proud Americans. What, we can't be proud Americans?
You know what?
We can't love this country?
Right. I noticed today on my trailer that this shit said Patriot. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get killed. I'm like,
what? Your trailer said Patriot?
The brand is Patriot. There's 2 stickers on there that say Patriot. And I'm like, oh, they're going to really think I fell off the deep end. I was like, that shit. When I got it, it was gifted as a donation.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I need one of those, brother. I need one of those, man.
Me too. Shit.
I need one of those, man.
Man. Well, I need to send them to all you guys. Send me your address.
Absolutely, brother.
I'll send you my PO box.
Yeah, and listen, anything I can do to help y'all. I'll podcast you. I'll blast you out there. I'll do whatever I can.
Let's schedule it, brother. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm excited about what y'all are doing, and that's what we try to do. I spoke at a Democratic type event a couple of weeks ago. It's really awkward, but the response from people is awesome when you start with what you have in common instead of what you don't have in common. You make a lot better progress, and I'm glad to see y'all doing what you're doing. I'm really proud of both of you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, brother. Yeah.
We're hearing that Trump's. I'm sorry. We're hearing that Trump's getting into lockdown. His coworker has been tested for COVID. I've heard that a couple of times.
Oh, hold on. Okay.
I don't know about that one, man.
Here, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the article up.
That sounds suspect.
Haven't all his people tested positive for COVID? Like,
Seems
I'm just
like
saying.
I think everyone has COVID at this point.
I wouldn't. I mean, that makes sense. You know. I mean, I don't know what this. I never seen this news organization, but I'm gonna go ahead and share this one.
Just
Oh,
send the ones with, or put the ones up that have like nice pictures of you, not crazy pictures of me. Thanks.
Wait, hold on. What is this? This isn't it. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. This is the wrong one. Rilla, did you pull up an actual? It's the one from the Gateway Pundit.
Yeah, that's the one that I.
Okay.
The other one was a different article.
Okay, I think I pulled up the wrong one.
Not an article. It's just a piece of history. The
timeline.
So.
Oh man, why is it not doing it?
Because your computer is ancient. Get up, get up.
Yeah, StreamYard for some reason isn't great at streaming videos.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm having some problems.
How long you been using StreamYard? Is it pretty good otherwise?
Yeah, it's great. Besides that, I mean, we have streaming issues, but that really started after the whole COVID lockdown in March. I mean, I think everyone's internet slowed down because everyone's at home.
It's the feds.
Well,
it's definitely the feds.
No, that's a conspiracy theory.
Well, yeah, there we go. That is a good conspiracy right there. Well, I mean, I've just noticed there was a real slowdown in the internet after COVID. It was everything.
Yeah, everybody's on it all the time. Nobody's at work.
I definitely couldn't stream from Portland, man. That was weird.
Oh, I know. We were having some issues, bro. We were having some issues. I know.
Can you guys see that? I'm sharing, Jay. Okay. So it says Hope Hicks tests positive for coronavirus, was on Air Force One with President Trump 3 times this week. Oh, look at her. I've never seen her before. Trump campaign
and he's
advisor.
pointing right at her.
Yeah. That's a good picture. Tested positive for coronavirus on Thursday. Hicks was on Air Force One 3 times this week. President Trump tweeted the news tonight. Trump announced that he and First Lady Melania will self-quarantine until they get the results. And there it is. Hope Hicks, who has been working so hard without even taking a small break, has just tested positive for COVID-19.
How long does it take him to get his results?
15 minutes.
Well, how else do you how else do you stop? How else do you stop that second debate?
Oh, right. Oh, that's a.
They can do it on Zoom.
Good idea.
No,
yeah.
I'm not gonna watch it anyway because bad things happen when you watch it, and it's a full moon.
Oh my god! I can't believe they plugged us into that. I can't believe they plugged us into all that, dude. That was crazy. That was like the moment. You know what moment that was? That was like the moment with Rosie O'Donnell. Remember the last debates when he brought up Rosie? It was so unnecessary. They brought up Rosie. It was just so unnecessary.
Right.
We're the Rosie O'Donnell this year. This time of the debates, bro.
You want me to play a little bit from today on War Room? I got the War Room thing queued up.
If it plays, that's fine. Try it.
Okay. You guys got to let me know. Tell me verbally, because for whatever reason, whenever I wear this headset, I cannot hear the audio. Can you guys see it?
Not yet. There it goes.
Okay, here we go, guys.
Yeah, for some reason, it's making me add it
and
to the stream.
this is the way we approached it. We decided, rather than focus on the things that we disagree on,
why not work on commonalities? Why not find those things that we do have in common so we can make actual progress instead of being regressive like the DNC, you know? And when
You
we
guys
did
can't
that,
hear
we
it?
found the things that we could work on. We are anti-establishment. We are all of those things that you said, Owen. And, you know, once we established that, we were able to actually make, you know, make way for something beautiful, man. And it really is going to be beautiful when we finally destroy the mainstream media narrative. We are going to identify the enemy, and we are going to become this new identity, baby.
Love it. That's good. New identity.
This is going to come down to a fight over how many people are awake and how many aren't. They're going to contest the election. They're going to say Trump lost. They're super pissed that I'm on air.
Oh, is this playing a commercial or what?
Yeah.
You kept us on air. We did the analysis first. It's now
Keep them on air.
We continue to be the epicenter.
It's all right. That's a gangster commercial.
Is you continue to be the epicenter of our plans not going the way we want, and you need to stop right now. And they're very, very serious. Well, I'm not signing on with a bunch of devil worshiping child molesters. It's not going to happen. So they are moving now to destroy me. I used to say support InfoWars, rescue InfoWars, save yourself, save the world. We're in this together.
Looks like Jakai tapped out. Maybe her
Communism's up
phone
here.
died.
InfoWars is the damn blocking it,
Probably.
which is all of us together.
You guys want me to go past
And
this
you and I
or
are all
just
down
let it
here with our
run?
families. My children are right
It's
here.
playing now. I think you
But I
might.
need money to
Does
fight
it?
a war.
Yeah, just
And I
leave
need
it.
word
Let
of
it play.
mouth, And I need prayer.
Okay.
And I need action. Because that dam's going to come down.
Plus, I don't want to go
Trump
to
told
sleep for
you
another 2
hell's
hours. So
coming.
this is perfect.
You
Yoo-hoo! Roo-roo-roo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the
When we get
InfoWars
drunk,
War Room,
it
brought
turns
to you by
into
InfoWarsStore.com.
Roo-roo-roo.
Here's the deal.
Roo-roo. Yeah.
The Democrats made a major miscalculation and mistake. And I guess it was actually Joe Biden, so I shouldn't even blame the Democrats. But somebody put it in Biden's head. And he said, Proud Boys during the presidential debate. And now the media is claiming that the Proud Boys are the KKK. Clearly, I mean, just beyond a lie, beyond a disconnection there. I mean, that is blatantly lying. That's intentionally lying to people, intentionally deceiving people. And so we had Enrique Tarrio on from the Proud Boys yesterday to offer a statement. We're now joined by, does he want to go by his name? I don't know. You go by your name, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, you know my name, Owen. I'm Thad.
I know your name.
Lately...
I just don't know if you like putting your name out there, you know, in case commies try to come after you. But you are the leader of the Proud Boys, Salt Lake, Utah. And
no, I'm not the president. I'm not the president, but I am the chiefy, baby.
The chief. So you're the chief of the Proud Boys in Salt Lake.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So first, before we kind of tease what we have coming up that I kind of teased yesterday, first, just your response to the last 48 hours and everything that's blown up with the Proud Boys, the lies told by Biden, the then follow-up lies told by the media and celebrities about what the Proud Boys is and what you stand for. Just what do you think about the last 48 hours, you know, for the Proud Boys?
Well, I mean, when you hear your name invoked on the debate stage for the presidency at that, you know, it's obviously an acknowledgement of power. For whatever reason, the Proud Boys demand. It's irrefutable. I mean, just like Ted Wheeler had to respond to the presence of the Proud Boys when we went to our city in Portland. It's the same thing, you know, nationwide when it's mentioned on the debate stage. We are a group of strong-minded, able-bodied, and very willing men, willing to defend our country, to defend our Constitution, and everything in between. It's very powerful, man. In the last 2 days, I mean, I don't have much of a social media presence, but I've gained 200 followers because I am a Proud Boy. You know, so it's obviously a very, very powerful thing to be a member of this fraternal order of men.
Yeah, if anything, it's been the best marketing campaign for you guys, having Biden and the Democrats and the mainstream media come out against you. That's about the best endorsement you can get, really.
Absolutely, Owen.
That's awesome.
So here's what the deal is, folks. Thad in particular, and I know others, we've talked about it before, have been extending olive branches to leftists, to liberals, you know, people in Antifa, people in Black Lives Matter. They've even tried with Democrat governors and mayors. It's been a struggle. I know, Thad, it's been a struggle, but I know you've been persistent in your efforts and you've actually had some success. So talk about the success you've had and kind of alluding into what we may see or hear tomorrow, and the interview you had with a Black Lives Matter leader that the media edited her out of.
That's exactly right. You know, for all the, you know, the virtue signaling that we see from the mainstream media, especially in regards to our own misogyny. That's what they say. When they say we're misogynists, they cut out a strong, powerful Black woman entirely. They did not let her speak at all. So, Owen, you know, a picture says 1,000 words. And this was given to me by Jakari Kelly, the leader of Northern Utah Black Lives Matter. This image right here. Can you see this, Owen? It
says, be careful with each other so we can be dangerous together.
Yes. And I think that image says everything, man. I think that image says everything. You know, I met a powerful Black woman who is able to grasp the minds of those that listen to her and that follow her movement. And, you know, whenever we were finally able to exchange words and have that positive civil discourse, electricity filled the air, baby. And the cream rose to the top. And, you know, we found ourselves in a position after Portland, after we took her to Portland, and she was able to see what the Proud Boys are actually about. You know, we were able to have this presser. That way she could go ahead and dispel the nonsense that the mainstream media, for whatever reason, seems you know, it seems as if they have to do it. You know, it seems as if they feel as if they have to keep on perpetuating these nonsensical ideas, like the Proud Boys are in some way, shape, or form white supremacists or misogynistic, what have you, you know. But we stood up there yesterday. We dispelled the lies. We dispelled the ridiculous, hateful rhetoric. And we told everybody exactly what the case was. And the case is that the Proud Boys are in no way, shape, or form associated with white supremacy, that we are in no way, shape, or form tied to the Ku Klux Klan, that we are in no way, shape, or form hateful at all. We 100% want to work with any and everybody, and that includes Black Lives Matter. That includes the Brown Berets. That includes the American Sharps. That's right. I said it. These are the other organizations that are coming to the table, you know, and it doesn't end there, you know. So we have a lot going on, Owen, and I think that everybody is going to see a new national precedent amongst community organizers. So I would say, OFA, watch out.
Well, we needed Chief Bulls to do it. But, you know, here's what it seems like it is to me at the end of the day. And then respond to this, and then a final comment on the interview that they edited the Black Lives Matter woman out of so that they could attack Proud Boys as racist, but then left the Black woman out of there. Because I do think you're right. This is a new precedent being set for community organizers, because the establishment wants to just, you know, be in charge of all this, put them all on the same track. But see, I think what people are going to learn is that whether it's Black Lives Matter or Antifa or Proud Boys, obviously we have our differences, our different approaches, our different politics. But at the end of the day, we're all anti-establishment and we're all anti-corruption, but we've never been able to get on the same page because the media divides us. So do you find that that's the case, that we're all really anti-establishment? We all want to end corruption?
Absolutely, Owen. I mean, at the end of the day, and, you know, this is the way we approached it. We decided, rather than focus on the things that we disagree on, why not work on commonalities? Why not find those things that we do have in common so we can make actual progress instead of being regressive like the DNC, you know? And when we did that, we found the things that we could work on. We are anti-establishment. We are all of those things that you said, Owen. And, you know, once we established that, we were able to actually make way for something beautiful, man. And it really is going to be beautiful when we finally destroy the mainstream media narrative. We are going to identify the enemy, and we are going to become this new identity, baby.
Yeah, and, you know, the other thing that'll be nice about this too is if the leaders in all these communities can kind of come together or actually solidify leadership roles, that will start to quell some of the violence too because then they'll have an inherent interest to get rid of the bad actors. So look, Thad is going to be back with us tomorrow. Again, you had Jakari Jackson there with you, the Black Lives Matter leader. You did a joint interview press conference with her, and the media cut her out. I mean, how sick is that?
Yeah, her name is Jakari Kelly.
Jakari Kelly, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, that's fine. That's fine. You wouldn't know because the mainstream media didn't even convey that much, you know? And this is the thing, bro. We are grouping organizations like the KKK, the Antifa, and the mainstream media all in the same lump of crap. These organizations are the people that are keeping the division alive and well.
And you, Thad, are going to help end this. You're doing yeoman's work. Thad is going to be back on with us tomorrow. It's going to be special with Thad tomorrow, folks. Be sure to tune in. It's going to be very important, this effort Thad is putting in with the Proud Boys. Thank you, Thad. We'll be right back.
This is your last chance to get 8-pack Power Stack, and I'm really bummed out about that. It started out as a sleeper.
What do you guys think, man?
Man, that's powerful. That's powerful. I think I stole some of your words earlier. I think we said exactly the same thing, dude. I love that.
Yeah, I'm ready, brother.
Dude, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Jakari will be on the War Room with me tomorrow. I believe it's gonna. Let me check the text message.
I think it's like 3 o'clock.
Yeah, 3 p.m. Yeah, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central. That would be 5 p.m. for you, Jay. Rilla, you're on Mountain Standard Time too, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
brother.
I will definitely catch it at nighttime, but I will be at the Trump rally tomorrow in San
That's right. Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Talk
I'm
about
sure
that,
you'll
brother,
see
please.
you'll see some pictures getting. I'm sure you'll see some pictures tomorrow because I want to be with some of the boys tomorrow. So of course people are gonna flip out.
And the Lightning won the Stanley Cup.
And the Lightning won the Stanley Cup. Now we're going to Sanford, which is not, you know. Hey, don't talk about the Lightning. You don't say that.
Red Wings, man. Red Wings.
But yeah, so I'll be doing that. But you guys, that's gonna be great. That's why Owen was saying tomorrow was gonna be powerful today during that interview with you, man. It's beautiful to see it blossom. You know, I remember when I first met Thad and we ran into each other, and it was just like, you know, we're like, bro, like, you know, we had a good conversation, and from there it was just real recognize real, yeah, and it's just exactly
we did
how
the Mega Powers handshake and everything, bro. Like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, yeah.
And so that's exactly the experience you had with Jakari as well. You know, so that's what's important is that we have to recognize genuine people, and we need to come together as Americans. And look how powerful it can be, because you guys have been going at this a little bit, and you've had, you know, you've had your talks here and there. You've made videos trying to come together, and now, you know, because of Joe Biden, unless I'm pretty sure someone told him to say that, but
the earpiece,
I guess it's Joe Biden's fault. Maybe, who knows? Either way, he's the one that brought it up, and now it is a chance to break the narrative, and you guys are doing it. Keep pushing and keep letting everybody know what the truth is, no matter who falls at your side. You know, the truth is directly in front of you, and you should continue to go in that path.
Yeah, shout out Sleepy Joe. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's the divine providence, because, you know, we know that you've been doing that behind the scenes. We know what you guys have been doing.
Hold on. Look at Lisa DeFrucia's comment. He's in quarantine. Trump cannot have a rally.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
It only takes 5 minutes for the New Testament. 5 minutes.
We have a new test. We have a new test in quarantine system.
Come on up here, Scott. Tell these
people.
quarantine
system ever. It's going to be stupendous.
We heard the Proud Boys were going to be there, so I just can't do it right now. Joe, stop sniffing me, bro.
I quarantined for 5 minutes. I came back. Boom. No problem. No problem.
Great to be with you guys tonight, man. You want to go ahead and wrap it up, Jay? Rilla, you want to say that prayer for us, brother, please?
Well, more than
before we do that, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Everybody. Good job to everybody. StopTheHate.com. You know, everybody doing their part. And like you said, if if you're not doing something, pitch in. You know, I tied to a few individuals because I know that I'm not mentally put there to be out there on the streets with these crazies, because I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, and if you touch me, you might lose your hand. So, but that's a joke, politically speaking.
Yeah, politically.
Politically. People are asking where they can follow you guys. So, of course, you know, us three on top, me, Rilla, and Thad, we run the Titans of Liberty show. You can find us here. Titans of Liberty YouTube, Titans of Liberty Facebook, at Jason Lowe TOL on Twitter, at Trail of Fears 20, and at Informal Warfare on Twitter as well. You can follow Dave at stophate.com. And what is your Twitter as well? Is it Stop Hate? At Stop Hate?
It's help Stop Hate. Help Stop Hate.
Help Stop Hate.
Help Stop Hate on Twitter and Periscope and Facebook. And we got a YouTube channel, all that good stuff. So we're just getting started on the interviews and all that, but we're really trying to, you know, we had Brad Chadford on a couple weeks ago. We're gonna
awesome. I love him. Patty.
We're having those conversations, man. We want to do this too. I want to talk. I'm proud of what y'all are doing. I want to see more of it. I want to help. I want to be a part of anything positive, you know, because that's what people are longing for. I appreciate being on here tonight, too, guys.
Everybody's welcome on this train.
Yes, thank you for coming on.
Train to glory.
Yeah, we've. I was telling Dave we had to get him on. It was the perfect show for you to come on tonight. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. It was great meeting you.
I want to get this straight. Is it Jakai or is there an R in there? Is it Jakari?
So my government is Jakari, and Jakai was my alias, but I never changed it on Facebook because, like, me being from Ogden, everybody knew who the hell I was, so there was no hiding my first name. So, yeah, my first name is Jakari, but I go by Jakai also.
Gotcha. Okay, I just wanted to clear that up. I want to make sure we were not messing up your name or anything like that. Where can everyone follow you at?
Facebook, it's Jakai Kelly, Jakai Kelly, Kelley. And I don't know what my Instagram is.
Now we had a question here and that I'm going to ask it to you. Don't get offended, please. So, does BLM stand for the destruction of America and the police? Do they stand for a revolution? Do they stand for removing the black man from the family and destabilizing the nuclear family?
I don't even know what that removing a black man from the family is.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that's about.
It's like what Joe Biden did in the Clintons.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with me or black. It had to do with crack cocaine in this prison system. You know what I mean? So, you know, let's.
Yeah, and you know what, Jakari, she showed me a documentary called 13th. And it's in reference to the 13th Amendment, and they make direct reference to the Clinton involvement in the drug war and how it negatively affect the African American community. The things that he's asking for, Jakari, are the same things that I asked about. You know, I mean, remember I mentioned the castration of males, the destruction of the nuclear family. You know, the forced or the pushing towards transgenderism, specifically with male to female. These are things that Black Lives Matter Global has endorsed, and I've talked to Jakari about this at length. The part of what people mostly don't understand is that every chapter functions autonomously, just as Proud Boy chapters function autonomously. And at the local level, they are not, even aware of much of the Black Lives Matter global initiatives, especially those, because of course, Jakari comes from a very strong nuclear family, a traditional family, and she had that in her life, and these are things that she does not support or endorse. And if she was aware of them, I mean, I'll let you tell it, Jakari. I mean, if you were knowledgeable of these things, I mean, I
don't know where, I can see if, I even went on the website the other day, the BLM organization website, and none of that stuff was on there anymore. So maybe they realized how they had to change their own verbiage. I can't speak for those, the people that run that organization, because I've never met them. But when I went to go, I seen it when people first started talking about it, and I was like, what do they mean? Like, how are they translating this? And then when I went back on there to look, like, it wasn't on there anymore. So
yeah.
And then I do come from a traditional family where my grandparents were married, but my mom wasn't married. She was a single mother. She was in a relationship for a while with my father, but I'm a single parent at the same time. That doesn't mean I'm like, burn all men. You know what I mean? They're valuable at least for 15 minutes out of the day. So I would never share anything with them. So you know what I mean? I don't know where people get these scenarios from or how they're even translating this from the verbiage that maybe was on their website before, but you know, I support every community that needs help, whether it be the LGBT community or, you know, the Native American community, the Hispanic community. I know when I'm an ally, but I know when I have a platform also. So
absolutely. Yeah. So
Well,
that could be the topic for an entirely different cast. Hell yeah, man. Yeah.
Anybody else want to throw anything else in there before Jay leads us out with a prayer?
Well, I'll if anybody else wanted to pray, I open up the floor. Dave, if you wanted to throw one in, anybody else? I would actually, I'll go ahead and pass it to our guests for the prayer this evening. Then
you want it, Jay?
Oh no, Dave. I thought Dave said he would. I mean, I will. It's okay. We can bow our heads, our hearts and minds clear. Thank you, Father, for another day. Thank you for this opportunity to share the truth, to share your truth. Right now, I just ask that you heal hearts that's been broken, minds that's been confused, people that have been misled. I ask that you be that guiding light and also just forgive us, Father God. And we pray for our enemies right now, for those that spread the lies. Father, we ask that you give them a mind of truth and a heart of truth and a will to seek towards your will. And also just strengthen us, Father. Heal our hearts, heal our minds as well, for we have been deceived as well by this lie. And just strengthen us each day that we are empowered to do your will and follow your love. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Yeah, we appreciate you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
Make sure
much.
You guys tune in. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be at the Trump rally. Now with this quarantine thing, I want to check that out. Make sure you follow Jakari Kelly on Facebook. Make sure you follow Dave Stop Hate, helpstophate.com, or help Stop Hate on Twitter. And follow us, Titans of Liberty. We will be live tomorrow, like I said, from the rally, and we'll try to air that War Room special with these two tomorrow for sure afterwards. So you guys see it here first. StopHate.com. Let's try to come together and let's stop, let's stop painting each other with a brush, man. It really, someone's going to get hurt. People are already getting hurt. And we need to come together and save this nation and start the healing process. So thanks for watching. Make love contagious. Exactly. But thanks for watching, guys. And thank you for sharing and go to Twitter and share those amazing videos that you've seen today on the show. And shout out to Joe Biggs. Thanks for joining us. If you missed that, once we end this, you can go back and play the beginning. We had Joe Biggs in the beginning. So thank you guys and have a good night.
Thank y'all.
Keep up the great work.
Black